Did you know Apple's latest move could reshape the tech industry's manufacturing landscape? Well, that's because Apple Watch chips are now being made in the US, and this is the first time ever. Today's video is brought to you by Brain.fm, science-backed focus music that sounds great, by the way. You can check it out, linked up down below. Geopolitics, shifting economic winds. These are the things swirling around in the background as we have this discussion. It's kind of weird to think about. I mean, for all these years, iPhones have been made overseas, oftentimes in China. You know, Apple's diversified. They got a lot of stuff going on in Vietnam now. Maybe some of it shifted even to India. They are trying to shift some of their production over here to the US. And you can see that reflected here. It's part of a trend, though, where companies are trying to bring back high-tech manufacturing to the States, you know, American companies. And so, you know, politically, I don't know where you're at, how you feel about it, if you care, if it doesn't matter to you at all. A lot of people end up being really super cautious about this because they start to worry about, oh, is it going to make us have to pay more? Are costs going to go up? You know, does this decrease our foreign dependency and that would be good? Or does it increase what we're going to have to spend? You know, can you even decouple from another country successfully? But I think, though, if you're American, then, which most of my audience is, you know, it breaks down that the majority of people watching this are American. Although I got people watching from everywhere. So, hey, from to everybody around the world. But here's the thing. I think if you're an American, you're mostly optimistic about this. It doesn't matter. It's not like a political thing. Like, you can be proud of your country and what you can do here. I mean, Apple's not dumb, right? There's shifting political winds, and Apple certainly wants to reduce its reliance a little bit on other foreign countries for the production in case something goes down, obviously. I mean, if you're China, it's probably a good idea to do something similar. If you're India, it's probably something that you'd like to look into as well for your country, because it makes sense to have tech independence, especially in this realm where it's easy to slip things into a supply chain. Let's just put it like that. And if the more dependent you are, then I mean, that's the opposite. If you're dependent, that's the opposite of being independent. So just by nature, it's better for you as a country, probably in the ways that matter the most, if you can have things within your geopolitical borders. And we can even just hit pause and be like, well, is that really just Chris's opinion or whatever? And everyone does have different opinions on this, but just look at what companies are doing. I mean, Apple is not necessarily, or actually not by a long shot, like a right-leaning company. So yeah, we have a new president, you know, coming into office, and that does, like I said, shift the winds a little bit. But that said, I mean, Apple is Apple, and this is Apple making this decision. Apple is pulling the trigger here to do this. And so I think that speaks volumes all on its own. I just want to take a brief second and let you know about our sponsor today, Brain.fm. I love Brain.fm. I'm literally never without this app on my Mac, on my iPhone, wherever I go, because it just sounds so good. But it's not just about the sound. Brain.fm is science-based, science-backed, and it will help you actually concentrate better. So it actually works as fast as just 5 minutes. And I love the interface, and it just really has quite an effect. Check it out. As you can see, people really love it. And if you check the link down in the description, you get 30 days free. Obviously, I think that when Apple takes an action like this, it kind of acts like a cascade, right? It's a domino that gets knocked over. So yeah, is this going to influence other tech giants to consider similar shifts? I would guess yeah. It's funny because you look on the back of a lot of your Apple stuff and it will say designed in Cupertino. But that's just the design, right? It doesn't mean that it was built in the USA. So is it USA made? It's USA imagined to a large extent, but even that doesn't mean exactly what it did based on, you know, just changing workforce dynamics over the years either. So this is actually a really complicated and nuanced discussion here, which is why I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are on this. However, wherever your thoughts fall. Here's this person worrying about hopefully the price doesn't spike, and we got somebody else saying, you know, America. So those are kind of the two views there, right? I think for everyone who's saying it's definitely going to be more expensive now, I really don't think so. Apple being Apple, they don't really want to raise the price on stuff. So they're not going to do this if it means that they're going to have to tank their prices. You can already look at the previous story that we were talking about with the iPad Pro and how, you know, maybe Apple doesn't want to lose any more sales. And if sales are eroding in other areas, they don't want to do something to further erode that, right? So Apple is not forced to do this. Apple chose to do it. and it seems like there's a reason, and I don't think they're doing this knowing that, hey, it's gonna spike the price by X amount. So yeah, this is the first time that this is happening for the Apple Watch here in the US, but the Apple Watch now joins the party for US-based chip production because it was iPhone processors already. So now it's also the Apple Watch SIPs as well. What's it mean for you? What's it mean for global tech dynamics? Hit me with the comments.